Hello and welcome back. Thanks for continuing to be with us today. This day celebrating the 6th year of celebrating and supporting Clemson through Give Day. As a reminder, through Give Day, we aim to do four things. Number one is to support scholarships. Students are at the heart of everything we do. And when you make a gift to Clemson, you support scholarships that allow aspiring Tigers to attend our university. Two, to broaden horizons. When we give, we broaden the possibilities in and beyond these hills. Give to Clemson so that Clemson can continue to give back, creating opportunities. Your gift helps create life-changing experiences for students in South Carolina and beyond. The support Tigers receive inspires them to create significant change and make us all proud. And finally, move Clemson forward. The Clemson family is built on a foundation of giving. Giving back allows us to create opportunities to move Clemson forward together. The Peer and Wise program has been making an impact for 31 years. To learn more about these programs and to hear an inspirational story of a couple that are both a product of the program but also supporters of the program is going to be just wonderful to hear those stories today. And with that, I am so happy and proud to welcome our next guest. First, Sarita Acker, the Executive Director of Peer and Wise in the College of Engineering, Computing, and Applied Sciences, and class of 1988 Clemson graduates, Nikki and Jonathan Oglesby. Sarita, Nikki, Jonathan, welcome. How are you?
How you doing?
Great. Hi.
Hi, wonderful.
Well, it is so great to see all of you this today, and just so excited to hear your stories. But first, I want to start, Sarita. I want to start to get a chance for our audience who may not be familiar. I mentioned Peer and Wise is in place for 31 years, but I know we've got some members of the audience who may not be familiar with it. What exactly are those programs?
So, Peer and Wise are diversity and inclusion programs. They're also outreach, recruitment, and retention as a part of our mission. Peer stands for Programs for Educational Enrichment and Retention, and WISE is Women in Science and Engineering. But don't worry about it; nobody remembers that but me. Basically, they're here to help students achieve their goals of, getting their degrees in STEM areas. So I'm so excited to share the program. Yes, we've been here for 31 years, and so we have longevity in trying to see that the pipeline is filled.
Well, and Sarita, how do students get involved with programs?
Well, there are many ways that you can get involved. We have an outreach component in which students can get involved in as early as middle school. We have, partnerships with the Girl Scouts. We have STEM days where we work with faith-based organizations and, different schools around the state. And we also have summer programs to introduce students to STEM. So there are many ways as far as even before you get here, pre-college activities. Beyond that, we also have recruitment days, and we invite high schoolers and accepted students to campus to learn about all the different fields that we have in the College of Engineering, Computing, and Applied Sciences. And we also give them an opportunity just to meet other students and see other role models. And then finally, once they get here, we just proactively give them a mentor. We don't ask them if they want one. We're like, here's your mentor. And these are students that are upperclassmen that really know the ropes and can help the students transition as they get here as freshmen. And then beyond that, we have a lot of students that work for us as mentors and tutors and so on and so forth.
Well, I think that both that mentor-mentee relationship is about to come up in our conversation, as well as that opportunity to work as a mentor is about to come up in our conversation. And with that, I think it's a great segue to reintroduce Jonathan and Nikki Oglesby, class of 98. Nikki, Jonathan, I'd love to just kind of start with each of y'all's stories of choosing Clemson and choosing the engineering programs at Clemson. So Nikki, we'll start with you. What was your path at Clemson, and how did we turn your blood orange?
Well, I'd be happy to say that Clemson chose me because I definitely wasn't seeking to attend Clemson. Here I am going into my junior year, and we get exciting letters from the Clemson Career Workshop about this program they were having for high school students to come on to campus, stay for a week, go to class, basically be a part of the Clemson environment to see, is this where you want to go to school in the future? And of course, like I said, Clemson wasn't even on my radar, but my best friend and I, along with other students in my class, we all received letters. So we were like, let's give it a shot. Let's see if we get selected. And we were the two that got selected to attend. And of course, I was so excited. And once getting on campus, it's a beautiful campus. And actually, I thought about this morning. I had a geometry teacher in ninth grade that actually took us for a class trip up to the Oconee County area and actually seeing Clemson. And it's kind of like all surreal now that you think about it. But just having that whole experience to draw from. And then again, with the Clemson Career Workshop going into my senior year, I was invited to attend again. We had a great time, the experience of being in the classroom, meeting all these students from all over the state of South Carolina, smart, intelligent, really fun group of people to be around. And when it came time to apply for Clemson, at first I was thinking North Carolina State. I wanted to be an engineer. I knew that was a good school. I wanted to go out of state. So you have these dreams, but the reality is it cost, right? So being in state makes a whole lot of a difference. So with having that experience, knowing that I would love it because I absolutely loved it there when I was with Career Workshop, it just made sense. Got my acceptance letter, and that was a done deal. I was done shopping. So,
Well, I love that story. And you mentioned another ACC foe that you were looking at. And I imagine you had a lot of different choices for going to college. Share a little bit more about, though, how impactful it was for you to choose Clemson based on Clemson Career Workshop.
well, it was very impactful for me because, so I came from a very small town, one stoplight. I think I would consider myself first generation college. My parents had gone to technical school, but did not finish. Um, a lot of competition where I was always in honors and AP classes and everything. A lot of the students there were going to places like South Carolina, University of South Carolina, or um, Francis Marion. Some were going out of state. But I had already developed a connection with Clemson, having those 2 summers there, meeting other students that were going to be incoming freshmen. And also, little did I know, once I'd entered Clemson as a freshman and became a part of the peer program, all those mentors that I had met during the Clemson Career Workshop were now a part of peer. So you had that connection, you had those relationships, you had like big sisters or big brothers that were kind of looking out for the kid sister. So that made a world of a difference, especially with, not having any older brothers, sisters, or, siblings that went to college and could, kind of navigate me through. It was so good that I kind of already had my family there when I arrived on the campus. So
That's fantastic. And like Sarita said earlier about assigning you a mentor. So tell us a little bit about becoming a part of peer and that mentor-mentee relationship right from the get-go.
well, like I said, familiar faces makes your transition so much better. You forget about leaving, your close friends back at home and your mom and dad, of course. You have a familiar face there. So walking into that peer office, seeing all those mentors that I had already previously met, they had gone through freshman engineering and chemistry and facing physics and calculus, and you think you're smart when you step on campus, right? But it's so competitive. And the academic courses are, of course, they're up here. It's Clemson University, of course. They want to challenge you, but you feel so intimidated and you start to think, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. But having a connection and a family and a group of people that they were in the same boat as I was, they have made it. They're now junior and seniors. They're about to graduate with their degree in engineering. They made it through freshman chemistry and physics. That was a testimony in itself. So if they can do it, They befriended me, they helped me, tutoring, test study skills, and all that kind of stuff. It was right there at my access. And so I just took it all in.
I think, Sarita, you would agree that really tells the story of Peer pretty spectacularly.
Exactly. I'm seeing her story over and over again, and it's just a joy to hear it. And it's, every time I hear it, it's pretty much the same. So we're definitely there to make everyone feel that they're a part of the Clemson family and the Peer and Wise family. So that is just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, Jonathan, it's your chance now. And now I found this out before we went live was that the two of you met in school, but you didn't come together until a few years after school. Because my first question was gonna be kind of a wink to you to say, make sure you get this one right. What's the greatest thing you gained from attending Clemson?
Yeah, no, I mean, just as we were indicating earlier, getting a chance to obviously meet my future wife, which I didn't know at the time.
Good answer. Good
But
answer.
yeah, that's yeah, that was a definite plus for sure.
Now you're from the Clemson area.
Yeah, correct. So I went to D.W. Daniel High School, grew up in the area. That's where my family is from. So growing up, going to football games or just being in the area, of course, I was familiar with the campus, but that was about it. I wasn't, familiar with the academic side of it. So my story and how I got to Clemson is very similar to Nikki's.
Well, share a little bit about that story because even though you grew up, right here at the uh, right down the road or just a few steps away from campus, you had a similar impactful visit to Clemson after your junior year as part of a career workshop as well, correct?
Yeah, so it was 2 summers before graduation, and same thing, Clemson Career Workshop meeting. Just, I mean, when you see all of those beautiful faces, as Nikki just highlighted, that had similar ambitions in life, as far as getting their degree and so forth. It was very encouraging, and to her point, those are some of the same friends that you met during camp that you were going to start school with, right? So yeah, like I said, very similar story. We didn't meet during Clemson Career Workshop. We actually met after as freshmen, as mentees within the peer program. But yes, that program was very helpful for me to get that academic side of the picture. And then I also got speaking about funding and scholarships and so forth. I got a Coca-Cola scholarship for, being, one of the top minority students within my high school. And so from a support perspective and from a funding perspective, it was a perfect fit for me.
Well, Nikki talked about the mentee, and Sarita spoke about the mentee mentor relationships built in peer that really are so beneficial. You and Nikki, y'all both had the mentee experience, but also served as mentors yourselves, correct? And just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so just as Sarita indicated, so when you come in, you get assigned a mentor, someone usually that's a junior or a senior. They've been through what you're about to go through, so they're very supportive. Of course, it ends up being more than just a mentee mentor relationship. Sometimes they end up being great friends and relationships that you continue for many years into the future. So yeah, I was that mentee, my first freshman and I believe sophomore year. But then same thing, I recognized that level of support and how it helped me. And so I wanted to give back, right? So I became a mentor as well. My senior year. I think we would have somewhere around 7 to 10 students that we would mentee and kind of help them along the way. So it was a way to give back.
Well, speaking of giving back, I know that the two of you have really made an impactful gifts to support the peer program and those students that are part of that. Share with us a little bit about the inspiration that came with. I know you've used the term paying it forward, Jonathan, but share with us a little bit about supporting the program both while you were there, you've shared with giving of your time, but now giving of your resources to help the students now.
No, it's I mean, it's very difficult to be first, second generation uh, underrepresented minority student. You go to Clemson and you want to be an engineer. Of course, going to college is tough as it is, and then you have aspirations to be an engineer. I mean, that financial support that I spoke of from Coca-Cola, I'll never forget that. I mean, that helped me throughout my entire career. The academic support through peer and just the camaraderie. Um, it's it's kind of like raising children. It takes a village sometimes, and I truly felt that there were a lot of folks that impacted me. There are a lot of folks that helped me, and so just to show my appreciation through the years, I wanted to give back, right? And so and I want to give back in a greater way, even forward, right? So I think about even now there's still first generation students going to college. I mean, it's 2021, and so just the odds and the obstacles that they have to overcome, and even if you're second or third, I mean, it's still tough. And so
Mhm.
just the obstacles that have to be overcame and the support that I benefited from, it just only makes sense, and it just really touched me. It's always been something that I have felt internally that what I want to give back as much as I can along the way.
Well, and I think it really speaks to your experience, both of your experience. Nikki, I love that you were thinking about other schools, but having had a chance to be on this campus, and then having that experience of working with peer and having. I love the way you put it with big brothers and big sisters, kind of bringing you along, even if you didn't have a sibling that could help blaze that trail. Just a great way to put it. Sarita, how many students are a part of peer now? And I know you mentioned some things like the STEM days, the student outreach. We've gone into great detail with the mentor and mentee, but there's also other opportunities. I know there's study hall opportunities and tutoring and things like that. Have I missed anything with peer?
I think you got a lot of it. There are every student, every underrepresented student, every female student that comes in as a new freshman. I would like to say that our staff at least touch their nose, and we try to get them involved with our mentoring program and so forth. But one of the things that we have the tutoring, we have the outreach. As I've said, there's so many ways to get involved. As far as how many students we have involved, as far as on staff, we have student office staff, we have tutors. We usually have about 20 or 30. We have mentors about 30. And then the amount of students that's involved really depends upon the incoming class. Like it depends upon the numbers of incoming freshmen. We mainly work with incoming freshmen. So that varies from year to year. But again, just even juniors and seniors, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, they all come and just sit in our space. I call it the living room, where people sit and they network and they talk and they get to know each other. I mean, it is really, really a family situation. So I think that we have many of our students, especially our incoming freshmen, involved. I also like to say, John and Nikki alluded to the Math Excellence Workshop. I think both of them were a part of that. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure, but we have a program that we try to replicate, and it is sponsored by Duke Energy at the moment. But these students that come in are students that are allowed to come in and get an introduction to math, physics, chemistry. They get to do industry tours. They get to learn about transitioning, and that is a big part of our program. And when you come in as an incoming freshman, we also open up that program to transfer students as well. So it's just a lot going on. We got a lot of moving parts, but we enjoy it.
Well, not only we're so glad that you and your team do enjoy it because you're doing great things, and it's just amazing. Been doing it for 31 years. And in fact, just last week we had a conversation in one of these interviews with Dr. Lee Gill, and we were talking about peer and how it's an example of Clemson blazing a trail for many years. And I think the proof is in the pudding with the work you're doing, Sarita, but also with the examples that Jonathan and Nikki have shown, both as students and now as alumni. Jonathan and Nikki, I want to come back to you for as we start to close our time together. Today's Give Day. We hope that all Clemson alumni and members of the Clemson family are inspired to give back to Clemson, whether it be for peer, which are wise, which they have the opportunity to do, or maybe something else, or maybe unrestricted. What would you say to someone thinking about making a gift on this Give Day to support Clemson?
Well, from my perspective, I would say helping to close that gap of actually being able to afford to get on campus. Like I said, I came from a very competitive class. Actually, my best friend won the Coca-Cola scholarship. So I wasn't fortunate enough to get that. I had some other scholarships, but just to have somebody to be able to give back and provide the scholarships that these students can take advantage of. Because, I mean, you have kids that do all the right things. They make the straight A's. They get good test scores. They are very clear-headed in regards to what they want to do. They have ambition. They have the passion. But the finances may not just add up. And I came from a family that, my mom worked as a social service. My dad worked hard, and I didn't get any financial aid because they said we made too much money. But in reality, it still wasn't enough. So anybody that, has gone through that, and there's a lot of people, we're even facing that today, all these college kids that, they want to go to school, their parents put away money for them to go to school, but the gap is so huge. It's like any way that they can get help, it's very much appreciated. And so that's what I want to do, pay it forward as much as I can. If we can all just collectively come together, every little bit helps. And you don't know how much of a difference it makes in a young person's life. It makes a world of a difference. So I just want to do what I can.
I can't think of having it been said any better. And I just will reiterate something I know we discussed before we went live, but to go with what you were sharing, Nikki, about the gap that can hold a student back is so often for any student, but especially many of our underrepresented population, the need is for support and for funding. And programs like Peer give that support. And then it's just a matter of helping that student with the funding. So I want to say thanks for y'all's support of Clemson, specifically through the Peer program. Sarita, I want to say thank you for what you and your team do. And then for those who are part of our audience today, I just want to remind today's Give Day. If you've been inspired by the story that Nikki and Jonathan and Sarita have been able to share about Peer, you can make your gift specifically for Peer. Make your gift today. It's the 6th Clemson Give Day. You can go to clemson.edu/give day. If you would like to consider, doing something a little more impactful, please feel free to reach out to Clemson, whether it be to a development officer or someone in the annual giving office to discuss what you may want to do. But we appreciate all of your support. So, Sarita, Nikki, Jonathan, as we part ways on 3, can I get a Go Tigers?
Tigers.
1, 2, 3. Go
Go
Tigers!
Tigers!